Oh, I suppose we better crack a tinny. What do you reckon, Shelley's? Yeah, you reckon it's a good idea? Crack a tinny. Yeah. Do you think we should get this thing started? You giving me that look, eh? Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Woohoo! And it's just me again. I shall say hello anyway. There's people might watch on a replay. Hello! Greetings, welcome, willkommen. Ahoy! Konnichiwa. Bonjour. All the others. Can't be bothered to think of them. And it looks like it might be a quiet one. I'm guessing because there's probably some event going on stateside. And also the clocks have changed, which means everyone's an hour out again. Oh well, never mind. I can waffle for a bit at least. Oh, someone is here. Whoa, who could it be? Who could it be? So long as it's not someone coming around dropping negative vibes, man. Can't be dealing with negative vibes. Well, I can. I'll just deal with them in my own way. Usually by agreeing with people. Howdy, hecklefish. How you doing? Are you here to heckle? Happy whatever you call this particular day of the year. Whether you call it Easter, the Ostra, the Ostara, Leishmas. Personally, I like Leishmas because it works. Because when a wizard comes back from the dead, they're a leash. So every day is the same for me. Oh, don't get me started not singing Nine Inch Nails song this early in the stream. Oh dear. Well, it's slightly different today. I mean, I went into an LFS with money and came out with fish, which is the exact opposite of what normally happens. But we'll leave what fish till later. We'll see if anyone can guess. One of those ones where I break the rules. I know Sharpe breaks rules. Since when have I ever followed rules? Especially about hobbies anyway. One of those where you go, ooh, shiny, buy, without doing your research first and knowing exactly what you're getting yourself into, blah, 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 blah. To be fair, I had an idea. It's not like I just went, oh, look at that shiny, pretty fishy, which there was I can't remember the name, Nimbochromis. That was it. I saw that. I was like, oh, wow, that is stunning. And then I brought it up on my phone. It's like, yeah, it gets 10 inches. I'm like, yeah, no, we're not having them. It's one of those ones where you have an idea and you're pretty sure your tank's going to be okay for it, but oh yes, gorgeous Brian, I can't deal with 10 inches, not with my delicate physique. Just the tip. Anyway, yeah. Oh, me and Brian really shouldn't be allowed together. It just goes downhill rapidly. Oh. The problem is that Brian knows exactly where my sense of humour lies and knows how to just tweak it just right. Oh, pardon me. A bit windy today, so you don't want that anyway. Yeah, so went to LFS. What else do we get up to this week? Work and water changes. You can tweak or you can twerk. I don't mind, Brian. You can tweak and twerk if you like. See, we're equal opportunities around here. I'll flirt with anyone. Yeah, so yeah, let's say other than getting new fishes today, a fairly standard, boring week. Although I thought I'd try something new with this week's video, in that I filmed a species profile and the fish was actually in the video. That's Mary's doing great, thank you, Brian. She's on her Easter holes at the moment from work, so she's got 2 weeks off while I'm working. Given the way it's been going of late, though, yeah, she could do with a break, and I'm sure Latte will enjoy the extra attention and fusses and the extra daylight, because yeah, getting lighter an hour later and getting darker an hour later now. Oh, heck, won't be long and I won't have to have my lights on my bike when I come home from work. Yay! There's just something nicer about coming home from work and it's daylight than the pitch black. I basically do 6 months a year of each. Went on a bike ride. That one went actually very well. No pain, no discomforts or nasties. So new hand grips and saddle are working out. I've got them adjusted right. Excuse me. Yeah, I did the 22 miles, including breaks and stopping to figure out where I was. I know it's not that far, but I did have quite a lengthy lunch break. Yeah, 22 miles, just under 3 hours. Actual cycling time was more like 2 hours, but you know. And then, yeah, so I'll go for another ride later this week, find the weather's okay, just to keep the training in, get my body used to being in the saddle for longer periods of time and get a bit of fitness going. Howdy, Linkbot. Am I the only one that says hello to Linkbot? I probably am. One of these days, Linkbot will reply, and that'll be really scary. It'll be the start of Skynet. Oh, you got bubbers as well? Okay. It's another lot of baby shell dwellers then. Yeah, it was a really good trip to the LFS. Found several species. Some actually found most of the ones that were on my list that I was thinking about. About the only one we didn't find was pseudomcgills, the fork-fin rainbows. Yeah, they had some cherry barbs in. I had some Julidochromis transcriptus. What was it? I had the Lampologus brachadi, which I think I'm not going to go for, because although they're pretty, they're not that impressive. Again, that could have just been because they're in the shop tank. But given the fish I did get, I may not be moving the tanks around. I might just be keeping the shellies in here because the fish I did get do need a bit more room. They get a bit larger. So yeah, that's one flavour of new fishies sorted. So it's just the other flavour next. I'm still not entirely sure whether to go for some chatty barbs or some forktail rainbows. If I can find the Suda McGills, I'll probably go for them because they are kind of cooler and prettier and more different, I suppose. But cherry barbs are a lot cheaper and easier and bomb proof. Howdy, Jeff. Evening. Yeah, it's morning somewhere in the world. That's the joys of living on a globe. Wherever you are, at some point, someone on the opposite side of the world is at the exact opposite time of day. And if they're in the opposite hemisphere, they're at the exact opposite season as well. So just as we're going into Australian autumn, we're coming into British spring, English spring, which means slightly warmer, slightly lighter, and maybe slightly less rainy. I say that as a joke. It doesn't always rain in England. It just feels like it has all winter. I just want things to dry out a bit before May, because yeah, I don't want to be sleeping in a swamp. I mean, I know I've spent the night in some weird places in the past, but I don't think I've ever slept in a swamp before. Or have I? Let me think about that for a bit. I may well have done. No, that was more of a marsh than a swamp. Well, I mean, it's called Hackford Marshes, so not Hackford Swamp. A marsh just sounds so much nicer than a swamp, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so I did see some very interesting wildlife on my cycling ride. Saw a fox, which is always cool to see a fox. Some deer, some finches, another small British bird that if I say the name this early in the stream, I'll probably get demonetized. And saw a first as well. I saw another red kite, and I was saying the first saw a pair of egrets. Never seen those before, so that was cool. I thought they were swans at first, and then I was like, that's not a swan shape. You see a big white bird, you automatically think swan or Roseanne Barr. But no, this is a pair of cattle egrets, I think, which is very cool to see. Not seen those before. They were stood in a flooded field, munching away on something. So yeah, all good there. Did I see anything else? Yeah, just muntjac deer, nothing spectacular there. Probably came up with the term marsh to make a wife happy when they built a cabin or a house next to a swamp. I think technically the difference is that swamps are wet all the time, but marshes do dry out in the summer. I think that's the difference. I think the difference is that a marsh dries out from time to time, whereas a swamp doesn't, generally, unless you have a massive drought like we did last year. And if anyone remembers when I filmed a video down in Harvard Woods, which are haunted, which is what I did, And I was wandering around in there. Yeah, you wouldn't do that now. That is Hartham Swamp or Hartham Lake at the moment. It depends which part of it you're in. Most of it's underwater. Ooh. That reminds me, I forgot to take my antihistamines this morning. But yeah, you don't want to live next to a swamp. It's all the bitey insects, the moistness, the humidity. Nah, all the nasty stuff that lives in swamps. And there might even be a thing in there. Pardon me. A swamp thing. Or a skunk ape, as they call Bigfoot in the Everglades. Is it the Everglades? With the swampy areas down south. Louisiana, I think it's, they call it the skunk ape. Yeah, I know. Random cryptid stuff from different continents. And we don't really have too many cryptids in the UK, not ones that might actually exist. And we've got plenty of things like Vuvacool and Loch Ness Monster and yeah, Everglades of South Florida. Yeah, it was a similar kind of area. Everglades is just gators and boa constrictors as far as reticulated pythons as far as I remember, and alligator snapping turtles. So yeah, not a good place to go. Swamps and bogs, yes. Bog, also a name for a toilet in the UK. Kind of works. I'm just off to the bog. Doesn't mean you're going to go out for a walk and go wander around some nature. It means you're going to go to the loo. Drop off the kids at the pool, that kind of thing. Like you went out for cigarettes and didn't ever come back. Yeah, swamps. Yeah, I was like, mainly I smell the same exactly. Well, I'd feel sorry for any bog if it smells the same as the toilet after I've used it. Let's put it that way. I told someone at work once to give it 5 minutes. He went in about 15 minutes later, came out and said he should have said 5 hours. That bad. Hence, I try not to go to the toilet at work. Yeah, it's most when you like disturb them when they're sort of sitting there all serene, they're fine. It's when you disturb them that the smell comes up. Yeah. And I can't smell it, but I know it's not good. You know, it's when you just know it's nasty, even though you can't smell it. I'm sure blind people can probably identify that they're standing near a bog and have a mind's eye picture of what a bog looks like as well. It's probably not too far from the truth. Although if you call in a toilet a bog, does that mean if you've got a house plant in the toilet, it's a bog plant? That's a good question. If you're growing an aspidistra or a peace lily or whatever the heck you're growing on the windowsill in the toilet, is it a bog plant purely because of where it is? Or should you only have things that live in bogs in a bog? This is all getting a bit existential now, isn't it? And no, I've not been smoking any devil's lettuce. Wish I had. There's not many things I've quit in my life, and no, I don't miss alcohol. I'm never like, you know what, I really fancy a beer right now. But there's still plenty of times I'm like, I could kill a spliff right now. But I know what will happen if I get my hands on a little bit and have a few. I'll get the taste again. Then I'll start going, well, I'll just have one before I go to bed, because then I'll nod off and I'll sleep better. And then you get to the point where you have to have one before you go to bed or you won't fall asleep. Yeah, I think that's the same with me, really. Especially as I do have sleep issues. So, yeah, actually, it might be worth. When I do my camping trip, that might help actually fall asleep at night. Sleeping out in the wilds in a bog, um, under a tarpaulin. A little bit of that wouldn't hurt. Probably help with the aches and the pains as well. But no, we won't, because again, if I've got a bit, I'll want a bit more, then I'll want a bit more. And to be honest, I can't really afford it. It's bloody expensive these days. Certainly wouldn't be buying it by the ounce anymore, that's for sure. They don't sell it by the ounce anymore. Sharpe, yes, I know. It shows how long ago I bought it. But even in the UK, it was still being sold in imperial measurements. And a 16th weighed as much as, was it a penny or 2 pennies? Something like that. Even the drug dealers have gone metric. I think it might have been around the same time that tobacco went metric as well, which annoyed me because they didn't drop the price even though they reduced the amount in the pouch. And then they increased the pouch size and upped the price more of a percentage than the percentage increase in volume. Yep. Despite the pouch not being actually any bigger, it was the same pouch. Just stuffed it in there a bit tighter. Yeah, I'm going to have to not do that. Perhaps I should get myself just a pipe. Just smoke tobacco through a pipe. That might help. That's a. I've already got slippers though, so if I get a pipe, then I'm officially old, aren't I? Give it another couple of years till I turn 50. I think that might be a better option. Don't want to be that weird. I'm old enough as it is. I get called dad by some of the young uns at work as it is already. So, yeah, that's annoying. When you work with people and then you realise that you are actually older than their parents. Oh, yeah, someone coming out to say hello. No, that was a random snail. Where are you hiding, fishies? Oh, you're hiding up at the back of the tank. Can't say I blame you. Yeah, it's a weird one. No, stay clean. Stay free from drugs, Sharpe. Made it this long, you can carry on. I've got to say, if I smoked a smoked a doobie right now, I probably would just fall asleep. So it's probably for the best. What else we got? We can waffle about. Done what I've been up to this week because it wasn't that interesting. Swamps, bogs, marshes, wildlife. Yeah, the Yo-Yo Leech video. I haven't actually looked to see how that's doing. Don't think it's had a huge amount of views, but it's a species profile. So if someone already knows about the species, then they don't bother watching it. And if someone's not interested in buying the species, they don't bother watching it. How many platforms am I streaming on? This one. I don't do Twitch or whatever the other ones are. That's far too complicated for me to figure out how to do more than one thing at a time. I took one look at Streamlabs and went, nope. No, that involves running 2 programs at a time. That's bad enough. Oh, that sounds like a snaily just ended up going through a filter. Either that or someone's chucking rocks about. Oh, is that you throwing rocks, is it? No, that's okay then. Is someone missing from chat that I'm not seeing? You, Brian, Linkbot. And may well be someone who's just lurking rather than actually joining in. Jeff, that does tend to happen. People put me on when they're doing their water changes, I think quite a lot. Just some waffle in the background. So they're not just listening to the sound of running water and needing teeth in. Not just listening to running water and needing a pee every 5 minutes. Or is that just me? You drain some water out of the tank, you can hear the filter, you can hear the water, and suddenly you just need a pee. Might just be me. No, make sure it didn't accidentally block someone. It happens. And it might be someone you didn't accidentally block. I'm not seeing any other chat come up though. I think fishy people, I think I've only got 2 people blocked. I think there's quite a few that got me blocked. Mostly ones who don't get my sense of humour or don't think there should be humour, or are far right-wing religious zealots. Yeah, those kind of people. What I do is if I turn up in a stream or on a new channel, to me, I sort of feel it out a bit, test the waters, and if it's not somewhere I'm like, yeah, I can't be me, I'm going to have to be really, really kind of withdrawn, and then I just don't. It's quite simple. You know, I'm not the kind of person who's going to complain because a channel has made a video in a way I don't like. Pardon me, I'll just not watch the video. It's quite simple. So it's, yeah, and so the 2 fishy people I got blocked. So one of them's a far right religious nut job, and the other one was just a simpering fool who tried using my stream as a way to be a COVID denier and get people to not wear masks and get jabs and all these kind of things because they didn't agree with it. Like, yeah, you are aware that if I don't kick you and block you, or kick you at least, that YouTube's going to come for me. Yeah, so that's the only two people I think I've actually blocked. So I don't know who's blocked me. It could be dozens. Well, no doubt I've upset quite a lot of people over the years. Yeah. Mostly people who think every tank needs 3 FX6s and half a metric ton of biomedia of a certain type sold by a certain person. Um, who is actually in this country. Oh, Pongimp, where would we be? Where would we be without you? Oh, better off with filters that actually filter. Funny that. That's what I've been upsetting people about this week. All the I'm waking my pond up from winter. What? De-winterizing my pond. Huh? What? At the very most, surely you just chuck a tennis ball in there so it'll float about and make a gap in the ice if it freezes. That's like the most you need to do. Oh no, you need to bring all your fish in and you need to do this and turn off your filters and do... No. Just turn the filter off and throw it away anyway. You don't need a filter in a pond. You know that sludge and silt that builds up in the bottom of the pond? Yeah, that houses most of the food for the creatures in the pond and all the bacteria. Just assume that anyone doesn't say hi back to me in multiple streams has me blocked. That's fairly safe. Fairly safe to say, and then you just don't bother saying hi to them anymore. It's no skin off anyone's back. Then you just go, oh, that person doesn't like me. I'll just ignore them then. It's really a lot easier when you go out life like that. Not expecting that everyone kowtows to how you think everything and everyone should be. We all have our own opinions, our own thoughts, our own beliefs. No two people are going to be exactly the same. So it's just getting on with people, accepting each other's differences. And if it's something that's going to cause squit and fights, I mean, flame wars, not actual fights, then just maybe don't mention that thing. Yes, it's kind of easy, especially like on a fish channel when you're talking about fish. So not talk about politics and religion, which are the two biggest problems, or rights, or firearms laws, or all the other things that you usually call still almost free world. Don't have to like me if they don't want to. Exactly. If they don't, there's plenty of people who do, Jeff. That's it. You can't like everyone, and not everyone's going to like you. The trick is, if it's someone you have to deal with regularly, managing to get on with them. We've all worked with people we can't stand, but because we have to be with them every day, like 5 days a week or whatever, you just kind of deal with it and don't make it a big drama thing that makes everyone's life a misery at work. Work's generally miserable enough. So why make it worse? Yeah, exactly. The world will continue rotating. We're all insignificant parts. Individually, we're like a 1/8 billionth of our species. That kind of shows you how important we really are as individuals. I mean, you get those people who do make massive scientific or medical breakthroughs, and those people are probably quite important. But if they didn't do it, someone else would. So, someone else would eventually put two and two together and come up with four. Or go, I wonder, life's too short to be faffing about with all that. I can't be dealing with drama. It's just pointless. Not important enough for me to remember. Yeah, exactly. I was like, if I suddenly disappear off YouTube, probably because I've got banned, let's be honest, within a couple of years, I bet no one would even remember who the heck I was. Or you might get the occasional, oh, do you remember? Yes. It'll be someone's talking about something that I'm kind of known for having an opinion on. And I'll go, oh, yeah, do you remember Sharpe? He used to do videos a while back. He used to stream as well. Yeah, he was all right. And then everyone would just move on with their life. So we get one go at this. So why make it any more miserable than we have to? It's not a dress rehearsal. We don't get to respawn. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, that's the other thing. My memory's awful as well, so I'll probably forget anyway. I can serve a customer, and because the way our systems work, we go by surname and what would be your zip code. That means we can bring up that person's profile and all that stuff. I can serve someone 5 minutes later. They come in because they needed something else and they forgot it, and I can't remember what their name was. And it's not just some generic middle-aged dude. It can be a pretty girl, and I won't remember what her surname was. Even faces I'll forget like that. Now I can remember some really random facts and stuff, but why are you in my head? Maybe we come back to the fly or mosquito. Now there's a reason I don't believe in reincarnation. That's because knowing my luck, I'd come back as me. And I forget who I steal that joke from. It was a fairly famous comedian. It's like when they say that, well, Hitler weren't all bad. He did kill Hitler. Don't want to be the fly on the wall. Well, it depends. The fly on the wall where? The women's locker room, that wouldn't be too bad. The men's bathroom at Fat Camp, no thank you. Although for a fly, that would probably be heaven. I know what the ideal would be. The ideal reincarnation. Get stuck with that house. Well, at least you can go out, though. The ideal reincarnation would be a pub dog. Now, hear me out on this. There's pubs in the UK. I'm sure you know what they're like. Most of them have a dog. Now, said dog, usually something like a Labrador, it's something big and dumb and floofy. And it's friends with all the customers. So it would just wander around the pub getting fusses. It'll get given, people are eating, they'll give it a chip or the fat off the steak or whatever. Then it'll wander around the back of the bar and it'll drink out of all the drip trays from the pint pulley thing. taps. That's it. Then it'll go just sack out somewhere and sleep. That sounds pretty much a perfect life to me. You get all the fusses, you get to eat a lot, you sleep wherever you want, and you spend most of the time fairly drunk. Yeah, that's my kind of what I would like. If I was going to reincarnate, it would be as a pub dog or Christina Hendricks bra. But that's another story entirely. I don't know, actually. That would be hard work. There'd be a lot of strain involved in that. Oh, pardon me. You know, that'd basically be an RSJ and a couple of ratchet straps, wouldn't it? Oh dear. Those aren't underwires; they're undergirders. Let's put it that way. And any ladies that were in the chat have now left. What would you like to come back as, Jeff, if you could reincarnate? If you were like Doctor Who and you got multiple goes at life, who would you reincarnate as? And anyone else who's in chat. If you could reincarnate, what would you come back as if you had a choice in the matter? And so for me, pub dog, definitely. That or a very spoilt, floofy cat. A turtle. Yeah, turtle's good. I mean, you've got to be vegetarian unless you're a snapping turtle. But, you know, you've got a nice slow pace of life. If things get a bit much, you can just curl up inside your shell. Yeah, that sounds fairly cool. I mean, it's going to be a long life and not a lot happening, so it might be fairly boring, but yeah, I'd take boring and uneventful off of, over drama-filled and exciting. And also, if you're a turtle and you lose a leg, they fit you with a replacement wheel, which that's awesome. There's a couple of dogs in town that have either, I think they've lost the use of their back legs, and dogs with wheels rock. You see them go hurtling around. They've gone from being four-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive to being front-wheel drive, and they get a bit understeery. They tend to crash into things quite a bit, but they're good fun. Although I do know of a rabbit that's got wheels as well now. Poor little Zamboni. He's called Zamboni because he's got what they call a splay. Basically, his back legs just stick out to the side, so he can't walk on them. So he basically just drags himself around on his front legs. So he's got a set of wheels now. It's surprising how quick they get used to them as well. And how quickly they just accept it and actually get teeth in, get excited and look forward to their wheels going on, because then they've got mobility again. I think I'd rather have a wheel fitted than a prosthetic leg. If I lost a leg. Just have a wheel fitted so you can just roll along. You sort of walk along. You've got things you can put a brake on it, so you can just walk along relatively normally. Then if you get to a downhill, you just take the brake off, lift your other foot, and just balance and roll. Sounds good to me. although I did try that when I was a kid and that ended badly. I was trying to teach myself how to roller skate. I've got good balance because I've got really small feet. Hello, Debs, my darling. Happy Easter. Mwah. Yeah, I was teaching myself how to roller skate because neither of my parents knew how to do it. And I thought it would be a good idea to start with just one skate, get used to that, get so I could skate on one foot, kind of like being on a skateboard, really. And then I'd switch to 2 skates once I got used to one. Problem was, or the silly thing I did was, I tried it wearing sandals. And you might remember the old skates that you used to get. They basically just strapped to your feet with a couple of buckles, basically like sandals with wheels. So I had one of them on one foot, I had my sandal on the other foot, and I misjudged it. And I put my foot down to stop, but because I was going forwards, my foot went, and I ran along and I stopped myself using my big toe on tarmac without socks. A day before we went on holiday. Yes, I spent the whole of the holiday with my foot bandaged up. I started young doing these things. It's like neither of my parents knew how to ride a bike, so I had to pass stabilizers. I had to figure it all out myself. So yeah, there were quite a few bangs and scrapes as I figured out wheelies and jumps and donkey kicks and bunny hops and then all the other stuff. Pogoing well enough to function. That's I'll say generally most days that's about as much as any of us can hope for, isn't it? Functioning. So now I'm wondering if we're going to get a rush of people coming in at the hour mark because the clocks have changed here, and people have now got used to me going an hour off from normal. But we don't know. We'll find out. Yeah. So that's how I learned to roller skate the hard way. Ice skating, I just strapped some ice skates on and went skating. I figure it's just like roller skates, but you got slidey things instead of wheels. So that worked out okay. Skiing. Yeah. Again, that seemed fairly obvious to me. But again, I've got a good sense of balance. Mikey B was running late, doing some giveaways there. Fair enough. Oh, bless you, Debs. What are you tired for? You've been working hard, entertaining, or just not sleeping very well? Because there's a lot of that going around at the moment. Speaking of which, I forgot to go for a pee before I started the stream, so I'll be back in a minute. Because I'm getting old. Hello, Fred. That's better. Ooh. Feels a bit later. And all the... oh no. Yeah, having a water change. I'm sorry to hear that, Debs. Hopefully, now the clocks are changed, it'll go back a bit to normal. Come back as a house cat. Love and attention, aloof and ignore people who irritate me. So yeah, you'd just be a ginger cat instead of a ginger panda. Hello, Bun Bun. Hugs for both. I know the sleeping thing. Naps is a solution. If you can manage a nap at some point, have a nap. I do that as often as possible. Yeah, I think pretty much Saturdays are the only day I don't nap. That's because morning natter with Mary runs later because she's not working, and then I start work earlier because we close earlier, and then I have chores and jobs to do afterwards. So by the time I finish work, got all the stuff's done that I need to do, and then yeah, by then it's too late to have a nap because it would just end up being sleep. Never been a napper. You should give it a go, Debs. It's what I find helps. I know I joke about it regularly, but it's finding YouTube channels or something that you can listen to that's relatively long form. The narrator, personality, or whatever, has got the right kind of voice that you can just to. Usually, I find people who narrate, or specifically the English people who narrate ye oldie ghost stories, horror stories. Most of them aren't like really nasty and scary or anything. Last one was it classic ghost stories or horror babble? One of them. I've been listening to the Ghost of Dorian or the Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Oh no, Zen got time. Mandy got timed out by Bun Bun. You butt dialing again, Bunny. Butt dialing, drop the phone, or one of them. It's going to be something like that. It happens. I remember Josh Aquamate in someone's stream. He had his phone in his back pocket, and it basically timed out everyone. Somehow his butt cheek put everyone into timeout. Must have been an ass at some point. Don't remember, but highly likely. No, you're never an ass, Mandy. You're amusing and sweet and lovely. You see, because I know better than to say otherwise. And I'm sure you won't get quite as upset as Pam does when I call her lovely. I call her a lovely old lady, and it's the lovely she gets upset with. If I called her a mean old lady, she'd be perfectly happy with that. Nearly Easter, the bunny has all the power. Oh, yes. Long live the bun. Yes, it's that time of year in the UK where the pet shops take all the rabbits off sale. Yes, so that people don't buy a bunny because, oh, it's Easter and it will be lovely to have a bunny. And then 2 weeks later, they're taking it to be rehomed somewhere. Yeah. I think our shelters are only just recovering from all the COVID creatures. There's a lot of people during lockdown. I'm just going to generalize. I don't mean anything in specific, not Pacific. You think you are. But a lot of people during furlough, because everyone had, I say everyone, but everyone who was furloughed basically had 3 months off of work with nothing to do. So there were a lot of people who went and got new pets because it's something to do. Get a dog and train it and take it for walks. Get a rabbit because they're easy to look after. That'd be lovely. I mean, you might have seen it with the amount of fish tanks that came up for sale second hand as soon as everyone went back to work. And yeah. Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, everyone put that in their will. Dee Dee, darling, how the devil art thou, madam, ma'am? We can't really say mademoiselle, can we? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to go down that route of things like bits of me I would like over your stuff. I think that's a bit too much even for my channel. Can't forget. Yes, I know. She's a lady, exactly. That's why I didn't go down that route. That's why I caught myself before I did. Because Bunny is a lovely lady. There will be no talk of stuffing unless we are referring to taxidermical animal-y stuff. You, on the other hand, no, I wouldn't. I do try. Exactly, she has done the taxidermy. I know the etymology is completely wrong, but whenever I see taxidermy, I think of like skin flakes on the back of the taxi. It's like someone with a skin condition that's been in the taxi before me. That's where my mind goes on that. Because that will be the English etymology of it, but it's taken from Latin, so it means something completely different. But anyway, are they still hiding up? Oh no, here we come. Here comes one. Oh, here comes the boy. Hello, gorgeous boy. Hello, gorgeous girl. We have new fish. There will be a video, a species profiling thing, providing I keep them alive for more than a couple of weeks. And these are very young, but let's see if they're friendly with cameras and then if anyone can identify. Oh, somewhere in there are a trio. Oh, here's a reflection of one anyway. A trio of fisheries. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Right in the corner, there's one male and one pregnant female. Pregnant should give a clue. See if it will actually focus that close. No. Can anyone tell what it is yet? I really don't think webcams focus very well close up, and I'm looking completely the wrong direction. And they're sitting right at the surface, so you can't see the colours. And I'm guessing you're probably all on tiny little phone screens as well, which doesn't help. But anyway, there's a trio in there, which, due to the unique way that my LFS works when it comes to me, anyway. Come on, now the camera's going to do the not wanting to focus on Sharpe again, isn't it? Can't say as I blame it. Oh, there we go. One of Dee Dee's brothers is a taxidermist. Yeah. So, if you didn't know, Dee Dee's maiden name was Geen. They are some sort of G'dayids. Well done, Mandy. I didn't mean that to sound quite as patronising as it did. They're a very, very, very endangered G'dayid. In fact, they're basically extinct in the wild. On the CARES list, on the endangered species list as critically endangered. Boom! Amica Splendens, yes. And these are the Amica Splendens tequila. Which isn't due to the coloration or anything, it's because of where they come from. They were from the tequila is a volcano in Mexico, and they come originally from a stream that runs off of the tequila volcano. So they're Amica Splendens tequila. Oh, tequila, it makes me happy. Yeah, no. That's TerraVision's worst ever song, and it was their biggest hit. Horrific. But yeah, so we have a MFF trio of Amica Splendens, and both the females are gravid, pregnant, and they were locally bred as well. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we can add another endangered species to the list of ones we've bred. Although, would it count as me breeding them if they gave birth now and they're already pregnant? They're live bearers, so the actual acts of the reproduction, it just happens, doesn't it, really? Not a lot you can do about it. They're going to do it whether you like it or not. But depending on how things go, because I was watching Biggs's video on them earlier, if I have plenty of, if I do get babies, then I might try some outdoor in a tub, because yeah, it does sound like a good plan to me. Put them in a tub outside, there'll be plenty of algae, which they love to eat. If you want to get rid of algae in a tank, yes, they eat hair algae and plants. And they get a lot bigger than that. Yeah, once you've got babies, they're adapted to your water conditions and parameters, so you're fine once you got babies. Just kind of so it can kind of reabsorb prior to it, feel safe. So if you get babies, they're either really happy or about to die. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so if we do get enough babies, we might try tubbing them. But yes, because of the unique relationship I have with my LFS, I paid £15 for a trio of Amica Splendens. Yeah, I got them half price. And with the promise that, yes, they will take the babies when I get them. And if they're selling them at that size, I think it'll take too long to grow out to that size, is it? Although I wouldn't sell them that small. They would maybe about the size of those Limia I'd sell them at, about an inch. Yeah, that's one of the things that bugs me when I do go into some fish stores. And I get that sometimes it can't be helped because someone will accidentally breed something and they don't want the babies, so they just take them in and go, I don't want these. And then the fish shop has to take them in, kind of. But, you know, if you're breeding for sale, then at least make sure they're a decent size. Because when I go into a fish shop, LFS, whatever, and I see bristlenoses the size of the ones in that breeder box for sale, I'm like, seriously? Those things aren't even a month old yet. Oh, heck. Some of the bristlenoses I sell have got bristles. And also the Pelvicochromis that I've got in that tank at the bottom there, the last of the fry, yeah, most of them are actually bigger than the parents are now. So, whoops. I think we might start having a crib infestation again soon. Because if there's a male and a female in there, there will be breedies. Maybe I should stick a coconut hat in there. Yeah, full price, yes, definitely. Why grow it out to an inch and a half when you can sell it at half an inch for the same price? Especially as you know you're going to probably sell twice as many because they're going to keep dying. Shouldn't laugh about it, but it's true. If you buy really young fish, the chances of them kicking the bucket fairly soon are fairly high. Because if you buy bigger fish, they tend to be a bit more robust and sturdy. Yeah, I mean, I accidentally grow some of mine out too far is more the issue. The thing is, it's the bigger ones that tend to be the smarter ones that are harder to catch. And when you're just trying to catch 50, 100 bristlenoses, because that's what the store's ordered, you just catch the first 50 or 100 that you catch. You don't go, oh, no, I'll get that particular one because it's a bit bigger. When they escape for 2 or 3 months, you end up with some of the bristlenoses I've got. There's a couple in there which are super reds that are 2 or 3 inches long. There's a couple down there, commons that are 2, 3, 4 inches long. I mean, I may well keep one of those if it's a male on purpose, and maybe a female as well, just in case we have any incidents with Spotty or Bertie. Then we got a replacement. Spotty appears to have been digging out a new cave. Yeah, so I don't like selling on very small fish. They don't show themselves well either in the store. Yeah, a bristlenose is a bristlenose, is going to look like a bristlenose, but when it's other kind of fish, let's say cribs, juvenile cribs really don't look much. It's only when they get adult they start developing the colours, by which time they're normally breeding. Which is why cribs are a bad idea for a breed for sale fish. Because when you go outside of the hobby, as it were, like us bunch of nut jobs who have multiple tanks and breed fish purposefully, you'll get the people who buy a pair of cribs because they're pretty and they're cheap and they're a good centerpiece fish for a relatively small tank. And then they breed. And then they've got hundreds of them. And they keep breeding and they keep getting hundreds of them. And they take them to the shop because they don't want them. And the shop doesn't pay for them. So if you're breeding them on purpose and growing them out, the shop ain't going to take them. I'll be like, yeah, oh yeah, we're actually out of them. Yeah, we'll take some. By which time you've had 3 more lots and you've got 300 of the sodden things again. Yeah, it's going to a shop and seeing basically fry. Yeah. There is one shop I went to where they had a tank that was just fry. And in this case, it made sense because the tank was labelled live bearer fry, mixed live bearer fry. So any of the tanks where they had platies, mollies, guppies, any of those kind of live bearers, more common ones, if they had babies, they just got chucked into that tank. And they were being sold for like, I think 50p or something, 10p, or yeah, they were dirt cheap. And they were, I think it was a sign on it that said, yeah, these fish may not survive being moved to another tank because they're still very young. I mean, they were of a size where you couldn't tell what they were yet. But yeah, I mean, that's what they did. So that they didn't like have their live bearer fry get eaten or getting sucked into the filter system. They actually put them in a separate tank and you could just buy random live bearer fry. To me, that was a sensible idea, but the first and only time I've actually seen that. Well, I think my LFS is going to start having some issues soon with mutt cichlids because they have several fairly large display tanks. And one of them, which did have an African lungfish and a couple of fly river turtles in it. Oh, Danny boy, there are some new fish in my tank. Guess what they are? The title is a giveaway. Oh God, I lost my plot now. Where was I? Yeah, so they basically got a big display tank. It's got a huge pile of rocks in it. And it's got a whole bunch of all different flavors of some kind of Rift Lake cichlid, whether they're Malawis or whatever, I don't know. They didn't look Tanganyikan, so probably Malawi. Looked like things like haps and peacocks, labs, that kind of thing. No, my channel didn't get better. Not that kind of Splendens. Different kind of Splendens. And you're going to swear at me. Yeah. No, was I? Yeah, so they've got probably 40 or at least 40 or 50 mixed, I think, Malawi cichlids in the tank. So chances are, and huge rock pile with lots and lots of hidey holes, the chances are they're going to be inundated with cichlid fry at some point soon. Unless they've been very careful and it is only males in there, then that's going to be fun. The other one I saw, baby giant gourami. Yeah. Apparently baby giant gourami are big as a full-grown normal gourami. Quite how or who bred them, I don't know. To that does tell me that there is someone relatively local who is breeding giant gourami. Rhymes with pepperami. Let's give Dan a look, see if he can figure out what they are. Gone back to doing hidey-hidies. They're in there somewhere. There they go. There's two of them anyway. Oh, there's the third one. And if you'll notice, depending on the size of screen you're looking on, you might not even be able to see them because they are young. But we have a male and two females. Both females are gravid, as you can see from that one by the heater, heavily gravid. Oh, here we go. There's the male. We've got a yellow tip to his tail fin. And he speaks Spanish. Well, Mexican. There we go. Amica Splendens, if you didn't guess. So yes, Sharpe's gone from going, yeah, I'm looking for cherry barbs and pseudomagills to buying another live bearer. But, you know, it's an endangered live bearer, so yeah, you've got to do your bit. Plus you get more than 10p per fish when you sell those. Given what they're selling them for, I mean, if I get the same for those as I get for the super reds, I'd be getting £3 each per fish I took in. So I'm not complaining. Because they're the tequila Amica Splendens as well. So yes, very rare. Yep, thank you very much. And here's the bit where you're going to swear at me. How much do you reckon I paid for a trio of Amica Splendens? Oh yes, here's where I get sworn at. Bearing in mind I bought them in the shop that is probably the cheapest in the area. Yeah, I'll put you out of your misery. I got them half price, so I paid £15 for a trio, and they sell them for £10 each. So, yay! Price 54 inches of bristle nose. No, only 15 inches of bristle nose. 15 inches of common bristle nose at that. 5 inches of super red. Yeah, ridiculous, I know. And I'm not complaining. But as man says, he says, well, I know you'll do your best to, and you'll keep them alive. And I know you'll bring the babies back. And I'm like, yeah, of course I will. You're going to pay me for them. Yeah, so 2 species of live bearers now, both of which are, well, one's critically endangered, one's endangered. So yay! And yes, Mary and I did play the game of go along their long water tanks, playing spot the fish that came out of my tanks. Pretty easy, really. All the bristle noses, well, the commons and the super reds, the limia, the shellies, the shrimp, the pelvicochromis. Yeah. So yeah, that was one of those where I had a list written out of fish I was looking for, and I did find some of the fish I was looking for, and then I saw them, and I was like, "Ooh, yeah, That's not one you turn down given the opportunity. To be fair, the other one that was at the top of the list of wants wasn't actually in, so we left them for another day. Plus, I like to have an empty tank, you know, for those just in case moments when someone gives birth that you're not expecting to, or has a fry that you're really not expecting, and you need somewhere to put them. No. For example, I can guarantee that if I'd have got 2 species and put them in separate quarantine tanks, so if they'd have had Pseudo McGill for Cartersin, I'd have got those as well. But then I can guarantee one of my bristle noses would have laid eggs, and it would have been in there, and I'd have needed somewhere to put them. Yeah, so we'll leave the tank empty. Well, I'm getting pretty close to that one being empty as well on the top right. I mean, not empty of snails, obviously, looking at the state of it, but yeah. And shrimpy tank down there is coming along nice. And that is literally populated purely by the shrimp that I find in the bucket when I clean out the filter in the other shrimp tank. Well, technically there's 2. I should only have 1, but you know, because apparently shrimp and dwarf cichlids do really well together. Don't ask. Yeah. But the cherry shrimp that are in the acidic soft water tank with the dwarf cichlids, yeah, that colony's doing better than the ones that are in the specific shrimp tank. Who'd have thunk it? I think I need to put another couple of fish in that tank. Perhaps some CPDs or something like that. Yeah, well, we know cherries are tough. They survived me leaving them in a tub outside all summer, didn't they? Put what I put in there, about 20 little shrimp. Came back and there were some honker chonkers in there. I'd been unfiltered and unfed all summer. Yeah, so yeah, literally all the shrimp in that tank are from literally what I find in the sink when I empty a water change bucket. There's probably 40 or 50 in there now, and some of them are getting rather large and pregnant. Buried, I should say. But yeah, the water is gradually getting softer in that tank, so that when I next get Nanacara eggs, the eggs are going straight in there. Yeah, they invaded all the tanks I didn't even put them in. Yeah, exactly. And that's probably how, now that I know, is they're probably in the bloody water change bucket. I poured the water away and there's been 1 or 2 stuck in the bucket, and refilled another tank and inadvertently moved some shrimp over. I don't think they'd survive in there though. Not with the Limia and the Acaras. I'm pretty sure the Acaras would eat shrimp given the chance. And the Limia too. Maybe not the Cories. Speaking of which, as a Cory comes up for air, he goes, oh, I'm just going to bumble around down here and be silly and derpy and be Cory. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I just don't get it, how I can have a tank specifically for shrimp, and it really doesn't do well. If they accidentally invade another tank, then they do really well. But I find shrimp do better with cichlids than without, or with betters. Must be some kind of circle of life thing. Newborns are too wee to see. You'd think you haven't seen me at the sink with a turkey baster going through the water change water twice to get them all out. You seem to use separate buckets. I basically use the same bucket for everything. Oh, hello, Spotty. Hello, gorgeous boy. Belly rub. Yeah. Oh, that's it. Go hide in your cave. Make coffee. Oh, Manly's been ordering pre-rounded bottoms. I'm assuming you're talking fish bags, so you don't have the corners that the fish gets stuck in or the shrimp gets stuck in. When you put the bag down and the bottom of it goes, and anything in the corners gets squished. Yeah, they're the bags I use as well. Yeah, I get mine off of Amazon. Trick is figuring out which size to get, because next time I'll go another size up, because I definitely ordered the wrong size. They are rather small. Barely enough room in them for 25 bristle noses. Hill seems getting big. There's so many. Got me over 154 with a goldfish and a pandagara. Well, congratulations on all your face huggers. You must be doing something right if they're doing breedies like that. And they sell for quite a bit of money over here as well. So, ka-ching. Yeah, I'd like to see a goldfish trying to get a hill stream loach off the glass. It is. That's definitely a very healthy tank. Yeah, something right. Don't scrape the algae off. Yeah, definitely not. If you got anything in the tank that eats algae, don't get rid of the algae. Be lazy. It's not lazy. It's good animal husbandry. Or wifenly. Mow grass, mow money. Evening, Tampa Tom. The mad mower himself. Don't you go strimming any bunnies or weed whacking. A considered approach, yeah. If you've got a species that eats algae or the tiny invertebrates that live in the algae, which is what a lot of them actually eat, let the algae grow. Don't believe all these people that go, oh no, there is algae in the tank. It is so dirty and horrible and horrific. Oh no, I must reach for the chemicals. No, algae's good. Little bunny foo-foo better hop the other way. That is the problem. Rabbits do the deer in the headlights thing. They just sit there and hope you've not seen them. Which, if they're in long grass and you don't see them, you can have an accident. Well, I say you can have an accident. They have a very bad accident. Actually, speaking of which, we had a customer this week bring back a weed whacker or brush cutter. You know, kind of like what we'd call a strimmer, but instead of a whirly bit of string or nylon, whatever, it has actually got a metal blade. Who's coming back in complaining that the blade had bent and that the blade shouldn't bend and it must be inferior or defective because the blade shouldn't bend. Right. What? Well, if it was properly hardened, it wouldn't bend. I'm like, they're not going to put a hardened blade on a brush cutter. Well, yes, I would. If it's a blade, it should be hardened. I'm thinking, I said, well, you've obviously hit some things like stones or rocks with it due to the way that the blade has bent. So, what do you think would happen if you hit that with a hardened blade? Nothing. No, it would shatter. It would be like a hand grenade going off, and it would shred you. Yeah. Now it's stuck here. Little bunny foo hopping through the forest, picking up the poo of mice and knocking on the head. Oh, yeah, that's going to be stuck in your head. Definitely going to be in there all day. But it's Easter. It's the time of year to be thinking about buns. You know, all praise Bunzus. Bunny Jesus, if you didn't know. Because when they're, we may think they're just about to like clean their face or something. When they sit there like that, they're actually praying to Bunzus. Probably praying that they're not just about to scratch their eyeball out with a claw, but well, we've all got our fingers crossed for you, Mandy, and the Hillstream Roaches. But yeah, for your first couple of goes, ship them to people you know, just in case something goes wrong. I'm not saying it will, but in case it goes wrong, if it's someone you know, they're not likely to get quite as snotty as if it's random internet person. And also, they're not likely to go, they all died or they never turned up, when they actually did, but you can't prove they didn't. Yeah. Not that I'm negative about these things, but I see the problems that other people that have shipped fish in the past have had. And that's why I choose to make less money per fish, but just sell them straight to the shop or the store. I may make a third as much money per fish, but I sell a lot more fish and I get a lot less hassle. Yeah. So, Lucky's don't drop the fly on my toe. Flip flop ended up 3 gardens away. Hopped into the house screaming, count my toes, count my toes. Lucky undeserved escape. Yeah, you see, you get lucky. If that had been me, well, we know what would have happened. I mean, there's a reason even I put the steel toe caps on when I'm out in the garden. I mean, they're literally sat here by the back door ready. Because I've done that, not with a mower, but with a strimmer. Put a strimmer across my foot and gone, and bled copiously. So, yeah, I don't want to do that again. Quite how I've allowed myself a hedge trimmer, I don't know. But that does make like chopping back all the box and lavender in the front garden at least like a half-hour job rather than an all-day job with a pair of secateurs. Hell, I'm getting old when I've even got a pair of ear defs by them. Gloves are down there as well. Chopped through a hedge trimmer cable. Oh, everyone's chopped through the hedge trimmer cable. Apparently, except me. Crack it, mate. Yeah. Yeah, you just shorted out the mains across a metal blade. Yeah, and that's where the hair went. understandable. I mean, me, I'm used to being electrocuted, so that doesn't worry me too much. Actually, I should say I'm used to electric shocks. I'm not used to being electrocuted, because electrocution is basically you are an X person. Electric shock is just a bit of a zap. So there you go. I wonder if that cable's live. Bang! Oh yeah, it is. Oh well, let's be a bit more careful with it now. Rather than I'd best go and turn the power off. I'm just gonna maybe be a bit more careful. But when you're changing a socket or something like that, you don't want to be turning off all the bloody mains. Ooh, pardon me. The one thing I will say, Mandy, practice tying bags or banding bags or whatever you're going to do. Because for me, that's the hardest part of it. Putting the water in, that's easy. Catching the fish and putting them in, that's easy. Hardest part is getting the bag tight and firm, not all saggy and floppy. I've got to go to the loo again. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Ooh. No, I haven't just followed through. No, I've figured it out. Ugh. It's because there was only a couple of inches of Coke left in the bottom of the bottle, so I downed it all just before the stream. Seen a lady get thrown across a room from an electrical shock. She also went blind for 6 months. Didn't give me respect, gave me a fear of it. Do they make bras for fish bags? I mean, I suppose if you... I mean, it'd be one way of stuffing an oversized bra to make yourself look more buxom. Not that you need to. But yeah. Yeah, just like, yeah, if there's some fish you want, I can ship you them first. Ooh, Dee Dee's working on music. Ooh. Oh, been Dan's birthday. Well, there's also one way of keeping your fish warm as well. Stick the bag down your cleavage and then they won't get cold on the way home. Evening, Ricky. And as it's been Danny Boy's birthday, do we sing it? Did we sing last week? I don't recall. What the heck? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Danny boy. Happy birthday to you. There we go. I couldn't remember if I did it last week or not, so what the hell. Yeah, no, I'll keep it simple to start with. That's what I'd do, Mandy. Um, there's my bag full of elastic bands that I use to tie the tops up, and for my hair as well. Uh, I, I don't think that one actually sounded too bad, did it? I think it was kind of in key, which is miraculous. It's his birthday and he'll cry if he wants to. So what are you now, Dan? 27, 28? I know you're younger than I am, but I can't remember how much. Again, it's one of those things that I never remember. Or 24 again. So hang on, hang on. So you're saying you were born on Easter Sunday? No, you've not got the hair to be Jesus. That's okay. We're safe. It is indeed still the 31st here for another 4.25 hours. Then it becomes April Fool's Day. I was bagging too many fish, so invested in a heat seal and a roll of make your own bags. Probably for the best if you're doing a lot. So I do maybe 10 a month, 15. So that's in 1 or 2 mornings in about an hour. I'm that person that if I go into a fish shop and someone's having trouble catching a bristlenose, I go, give me the net. Yeah, it goes in waves. As even the shop says that it's like there's sort of times when people buy lots of fish and times when they don't buy any. Eddie, darling, how are you, sir? Eduardo, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Been a while. Have a big old hug. Just sold us Hillstream loaches. Yes. But I say it's one of those. If I started working in an LFS, it would be the one thing I'd struggle with. I think would be bagging. You see people and they're just like fish go in, and it's like proper firm, and then you try and do the same thing and you end up with some squishy, saggy mess. And you're like, how the hell? I guess if you do it hundreds of times a day, you get used to it. Good. Been busy with life. Life does happen. Yeah. I say, I don't hold it against anyone who doesn't show up and then does show up and then doesn't show up, because we all have lives. Life does stuffs. And real life peeps and real life stuffs is more important than online internet-y stuffs. That's just my view on it anyway. And if you're busy, you're busy. I know some people get kind of grumpy and upset when, why hasn't so and so turned up? Or I'm like, good to see you back again. Oh, good point, Dee Dee. Is that how catfish are made, is it? Because in my experience of cats and fish, it doesn't end well for the fish, usually. Grumpy, nah, life, exactly, life's too short. Bagging a fish is an art. And it's, I mean, to be fair, fish keeping, breeding, bagging fish is probably the hardest part of it. I'll be honest. The hardest part of the hobby is bagging the fish. Yeah, passive breeding, don't do it on purpose. Yeah, I'm sure if you post a few pics on some of the forums, geez, show your age, Sharpe. Some of the Face 8 groups, or just to some of the peeps that are either here or in other chats, I'm sure they'll be able to go, oh yeah, that's XY species. Some might even be able to go, oh, that's this species from this location. And you were like, what? How the hell do you know? Oh, because of the size and the shape of the what? Yeah. Struggle with the heat sealer, work better for me to mount it on the wall. Try moving it further away from yourself, Dee Dee, then you might be actually see it. Oh, sorry, couldn't resist that one. Then bagging when I was selling corals in Cambridge. Yeah, so this is, when you do it day in, day out, it's probably easy. Like stuff I do day in, day out at work that I find easy, other people might struggle with. Not that my job's actually complicated. Maybe not work then. But yeah, it's always better to know exactly what you're buying or selling, because you can, like in the video about the yo-yo loaches, the clicky boys, I did mention the Pakistani loach, which is what they sometimes get sold as, but they are in fact two separate species. Was it the Botia almore and Botia birdeye? I think is the Pakistani loach. Yeah, so they are very, very similar, but they are different species. Did you know a fish bagged with O2 in the thing can blow up? Well, I mean, if it's pure oxygen, then yeah, anything with pure oxygen in it can go boom. Especially on a plane. Yeah, the exporters don't always know what they're selling. No. They'll get a box of things that are the same. Yeah. Oh, why, thank you very much. If you get a cigarette near it, I learned that the hard way in a car. Yeah, exactly. I did a species profile and I got the fish in the video. The actual fish that I was trying to film as well, not just some random other one that just happened to be sitting there the whole time. But yeah, I actually filmed the actual fish. That joke's going to go a long time, isn't it? If you didn't know, the species profile I did on clown plecos is actually the most accurate species profile of clown plecos. because you don't actually see the fish in the video. It's very accurate to actually owning clown plecos. Contaminants, some newbies don't know, put them in the same tank, get across. Yeah, there's all sorts of weirdness goes on, especially if they're being wild caught, or you never know. Hola, Keith, how you doing? Good to see you. Happy Leishmas. Your itchy nose. Is it an itch, or have I got a... No, there's a hair that needs sorting. That's what the problem is. I'll have to get the scissors out and have a good old snip around up there later. In about 10 minutes, probably. It's one of those things that really bugs me. And if you have nasal hair, you'll know exactly what I mean. Eddie's been ordering fish from Keith. Oh, just in case, yeah. I'm amazed how many views that video's got for the fact that you don't see the fish in the video at all. I mean, not even in the thumbnail. Joy. Yeah, irritating trimming it every alternate morning. And mine's not quite that bad, but every so often you just get that one and it'll curl and it just constantly tickles the inside of your nose and makes it itch. And it's never, or it very rarely happens when you can just reach across, grab the scissors, chop it, and job done. You'll either be in the middle of a live stream, when you're out and about doing something, and all you want to do is keep, or get your finger up there and have a good root around so you can pull the bloody thing out. Yeah, I've done that in the past, Stan, but I'd rather play it safe right now, rather than accidentally set fire to my face again. Don't. Yeah, it's never like when you're just sitting there, you can deal with it there and then. And so it'd be like you're at work or you're in a public place or you're doing a live stream or something like that, and that's when it would go, you know what, I'm just going to grow just long enough to start tickling the inside of your nose. And thankfully, most people here know me, and I'm probably aren't too bothered if I start rubbing my nose a bit. Maybe if I stuck my finger up there, you might be a bit more upset, but no, I didn't get it. Yeah, I've done that as well. Losing eyebrows lighting a cigarette on the cooker. Yeah, I mean, I've lit cigarettes on the cooker, but I've got an electric cooker, so that's an electric stove as well. So yeah, not a problem. I've also lit cigarettes using a 9-volt battery or a AA battery. You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. If they're really good friends, you can. The one thing you can't pick is your family. Yeah. I've also done the one where with a Zippo light, yet worse if you have a beard. I've had moustaches and beards, and I can confirm that having a moustache with a bit missing out there is kind of just what happens. And having a beard with gravy in it also happens. Yeah. But then I'm that well practiced now at lighting cigarettes that I can light a cigarette or relight a cigarette as I'm cycling along. Have a good one. Have a great birthday, Dan. Don't eat all the chocolate today. Try and save some for tomorrow. And let me just, there you go. Mrs. DKF is going to give you at least a birthday kiss. So, not due. Yeah, I've done the one as well where you're a little worse for wear and you're sitting there smoking. You got your beard and you don't notice that the cherry has dropped out the end and landed in the beard until you hear the sizzling. I guess most other people would smell the burning hair, but I can't smell anything. So yeah, my first warning is to get the sizzle. It's like, what's it? Ooh. Another reason I don't have a beard anymore. Not one I've actually thought of before either. The main one is that I would basically look like Santa Claus because most of it is white now. You still smell it. Yeah. But then, of all the bad smells that happen in this house, burning hair is probably the least offensive of the lot. Ooh, what's that growing there? Is that a sponge? I think I might be growing a sponge. Ooh. Yeah, summer. Yeah, exactly. That is the other one. It gets bloody hot and full of flies. Is the issue. In the UK, we get swarms of aphids and green fly or whatever. And yeah, if you got a beard, or thunderbugs as we call them, are the worst. They're tiny little insects. I think they live in wheat. Generally, if they've been harvesting the fields, you'll get clouds and clouds of thunderbugs come out, and they're bad enough when they get all over your sort of arms or whatever. They're kind of annoying and itchy, but when they get in your beard and in your moustache, oh, Infusoria and Paramecium are the most offensive smells. Oh, I can probably beat Infusoria and Paramecium. Oh, what came out of the dad's house is servants' practices. Ah, yes, he says a servant was doing certain ritual type stuff. Ah, had your dad peed off said servant at some point? Or was said servant in the will? That's the other. That's the other one. Taking out a life insurance policy. And slight tangent, but hey, it's me. If it weren't a tangent, yeah, that's the number one cause of people getting caught for unaliving their spouse is that they took out life insurance on their partner like a couple of weeks before they did it. Talk about making it obvious. Servant's prayer. He's been kicked out. Lucky not to be given to the cops. Oh, yeah, that's not going to go well. But anyway, yeah, things you don't want in your house. I mean, even if you don't believe or don't follow the spiritual and paranormal side of that, you don't want that stuff around where you live. There's a reason we bury and cremate people away from where we live. Camera smell. Oh dear. Yeah, it's not going to be good. Exactly. That will just make you sick anyway. But yes, thanks everybody for showing up. I know the time is changing, is confusing again, and I think someone was running late, but whatever, all cool. Thank you for being here. Look forward to seeing you again this same time as next week. Have fun, stay safe, happy Easter, or whatever you decide to call it. Peace out, rock on, bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Boo.